From scary deep-sea creatures to bizarre beach sinkholes caught on camera, finding creepy things in the sand or underwater is more common than you think and more terrifying than you could ever imagine. Number 11. Australia continues to be one of the scariest places in the world in terms of finding weird things in the sand. In this case, a shark was found by a man named Shane who is walking on the beach with his family. 2 seconds into the video, you'll see the unmistakable white underside of a juvenile great white shark. They are born 4 to 5 feet long and can only last minutes out of the water, so he doesn't have long to react. Most people would want nothing to do with this fearsome sea creature from the deep, but Shane decides to do something that's equally as insane as it is compassionate, helping it underwater. It idles a daze for a moment and then starts to come back to life and back his way. I don't know if the shark is getting carried by the current or wants revenge, but it seems to be going specifically for him. Amazingly, Shane sidesteps the shark and takes the animal back into the waves, even deeper this time, and watches it loop around instead of leaving.
Get back!
Coming back! Here he goes! Oh my goodness!
Only when he steps out of the water does the shark go out to sea. I have to believe sheer exhaustion was the only thing keeping this shark from annihilating this man in front of his family. Even if they don't normally go after humans, no shark is going to let someone grab its tail without reacting. He said it had a fishing hook in its mouth, so I'm guessing fishermen caught and abandoned it. Maybe not knowing what else to do, they could have at least called animal control, so that's pretty messed up, especially considering great white sharks are listed as vulnerable. That's one step below endangered. I don't think I would have the heart to let anything pass away, but at the same time I don't have the guts to grab its tail, so I would have at least called wildlife authorities. Maybe dump buckets of ocean water onto its gills from a safe distance to help it stay alive until they came. Tell me what you would have done. Number 10. Scary moments are caught on camera at a beach in Brazil.
Ninguém viu.
Viu sim!
It's called a water spout, and these are the final moments before it's caught on tape, sending a crowd of beachgoers running for their lives. Everyone is safe this time, but that's not always the case. Water spouts are basically tornadoes that move from water to land, or vice versa. Scariest of all is that they are not always associated with a thunderstorm. They can happen at random on a clear day, and you never know where you'll find one, or rather where one will find you. Sometimes they start out so gently that people are mesmerized by them, usually having never seen one before, and will gather around with curiosity. Those same people are soon running for their lives before they know it. Still not sure what's going on. Julio Santiago was on vacation at Coney Island when a waterspout randomly ripped through his path. He's too stunned to run and instead keeps the camera rolling for some scary beach footage. At 23 seconds, an umbrella comes loose and almost takes out one of his friends. She could have gotten taken out, and the only thing that saves her life is a change of direction with the random gust of wind that caused it. Nobody expects for this to happen to them, and even if they did, there's really no way to prepare an event like this. All you can do is pray that you don't get nailed by any flying obstacles or trampled by people who are screaming as they run, and if you happen to be in the center of one when it first begins, there's not much you can do. You're definitely going up in the air and might not come down the same person. Number 9. Rankin fishing is at it again at the Indian River Inlet in North Beach, this time hoping to hook himself some bluefish. Never was he expecting this. He gets a hit on the line and is a little nervous to find, in his words,
the freaking worst thing to catch.
The arrangement of dark brown and black spots on its back immediately tells him this is a clear-nosed skate. Skates are similar to stingrays, except for a few differences I won't get too deep into. All that matters is they will defend themselves. However, they can live another day. This one looks to be full grown, so he has to be extra careful. It's not the tail he needs to watch out for, but rather the mouth. The clear-nosed skate has between 46 and 54 teeth on the top row, and around the same number on the bottom. 108 teeth total, small and blunt, packed closely together for dense crushing power like a vice. Its jaws can crack open hard-shelled prey like clams and crabs with no problem. Your hand is no match. At 2 minutes and 56 seconds, the skate's bottom lip becomes lurched out and is perfectly aligned with the soft webbing between his index and thumb. The end result is something terrifying. There's a lot of red and yelling afterwards, and the only thing left to do after unhooking the creature is dip his hand into the salt water. Let's just say he's lucky the skate got this part of his hand as opposed to a finger, which would have come right off. He wonders out loud if something's going to happen to him later.
I'm sorry, that hurts so much. I hope they don't have any like toxin.
I did some research and found that skates, unlike stingrays, do not have any toxins, so he doesn't have that to worry about, but he should still probably go to the hospital because it might have some nasty bacteria around its mouth that he wants nothing to do with. He later describes this encounter as the worst physical sensation any deep-sea creature has ever inflicted on him in all his years. He has my sympathies, and I hope, for the sake of his hand, that nothing else from the ocean is ever able to do worse. Number 8. A creeping patch of darkness spreads without a sound over an unknown location, possibly someplace near the beaches of Malaysia, and then an underwater creature is caught on camera doing some scary things that no one can explain. The giant underwater creature appears to be on the verge of breaking the surface at 23 seconds. There's a wave of displaced water that has everyone in the comments further vexed and perplexed. Some say this shimmering effect is a school of fish evading a predator. I would agree with this, except not a single one jumps out of the water. The most eerie supernatural explanation offered is a Malaysian phenomenon called Salor Bidar, a name for underwater paranormal activity in which someone is instantly pulled to the bottom of the river by a spirit without warning. Apparently it looks a lot like this, which I find scary to think about. The bizarre moment passes, but they don't stop filming until more unexplained activity is caught on video. The mysterious shape bubbles to the surface once more at 58 seconds, and here at 1 minute and 3 seconds, I think it briefly breaks through. It could be the back of a whale or something, but it kind of looks like some kind of liquid on top of the water, like an oil spill. The person who actually caught this bizarre sighting says it's a video of a mysterious sea creature, but never does he provide additional backstory. This unexplained video has been stumping the internet since it was first uploaded on June 8, 2018. No update has been provided, and I could find no other similar scary situations caught on tape. Let's put our heads together and figure out once and for all what this unsolved mystery really was. Number 7. On May 11th, 2020, this boy in Texas walked up to his parents after collecting a bucket full of these strange creatures. He was using a small plastic toy shovel. Had he used his hands, he might not have survived. If you ever see one of these strange sea creatures washed up on the beach, don't ever try to pick it up. They're called blue dragons, and as the name in bright blue colors should warn you, their toxic wrath will mess you up quick. Sometimes. I say sometimes because grabbing one leaves a 50-50 chance of you writhing in the worst pain of your life, worse than a giant jellyfish or even a stingray, or you won't feel anything at all. That's because these sea slugs feed on much larger venomous prey like jellyfish. They take the venom of their prey and store it to be used against larger threats like us, for example. Their supercharged sting feels like the wrath of a dragon as a result, and how much damage it does to humans depends on how recently they feasted. Blue dragons have been known to wash ashore and cause major problems for anyone unfortunate enough to walk through a patch of them like this one. They also float upside down and can be easy for swimmers to miss in the shimmering sea until it's too late and they are burning all over. A group of them are called a blue fleet. If accidentally brushing up against a single one is worse than a school of jellyfish, imagine how a whole fleet would feel. The science world acknowledges this creature has enough venom to potentially end your life, and if that possibility doesn't make them one of the scariest things you can find at the beach, I don't know what does. No actual cases like that have been documented yet, so stay far away from them and you won't be the first. Number 6. It's a calm day and families are sitting down to let waves gently break over them. One group is done resting and goes exploring the rest of the beach. Moments later, somebody walks over the spot where they just were and falls into the sand. Some people might think this is funny, but this video is a really good example of one of the many sandy sinkholes that have been caught on camera lately. An odd phenomenon nobody thinks while they're on vacation. Something that's beyond creepy when you hear what I'm about to tell you next. Anyone who has dug holes in the sand, and I feel like the majority of us have, may have inadvertently taken someone's life. On August 31st, 2014, a girl was digging a hole at the beach when the ground collapsed and she was buried alive. Her family heard her screams but thought she was just playing around with friends. After 4 or 5 minutes, it was too quiet, and so they went over to check. She made it to the hospital but didn't pull through. A 10-year study from the New England Journal of Medicine found 52 reported incidents with 31 people meeting the same fate, but it's not always people who are inadvertently sinking each other into a sandy demise. Sometimes the beach will open up on its own, like Inskip Beach in Queensland, Australia. One of the scariest things to find at a beach would probably be chunks of it breaking apart into the ocean. By the way, the person recording is standing way too close to the ledge and needs to step away before they lose more than just their camera. Seriously though, the science community still isn't exactly sure what's caused this terrifying event, but they suspect a hole literally opened under the sea and swallowed a large portion of the beach. There's nothing they can do to stop it, and no telling how big this sinkhole caught on camera is going to grow to be. All they can do is wait patiently and hope it stops soon, although that does not look like to be the case, judging from this creepy video. So yeah, going back to the original video, these 3 are really lucky that the sand didn't collapse where they were just sitting. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, there's only a small chance of getting out alive. Number 4. Experts are baffled by a strange sea creature that washed ashore the beaches of Mazatlan, Mexico. These creepy, unexplained photographs taken by a woman in May of 2015 leave me with so many questions and no answers that I'm feeling a little freaked out analyzing them. Witnesses reported that it was a long piece of rope from a sailboat and left it alone for a long time. Only when they walked by and noticed the sharp teeth did they realize they found something scary from the ocean. Whatever it is, the pictures do not look fake at all and seem like a deep sea creature that was once at least hundreds of meters underwater, maybe even from a cave. The giant unknown creature sighting looks like the largest eel I have ever seen, but I'm no expert. The point is, nobody has been able to identify the strange sighting in the years since, so I doubt we will be able to. But if you happen to have a guess as to what this could be, let me know what it is. Maybe together we can succeed where the others could not. Number 3. Ostraconophobia is the fear of shellfish, and if you didn't have it before, you definitely have it now. One of the strangest creatures ever found along the sand has to be the coconut crab. They're found across many different beaches, and wherever they are automatically becomes one of the scariest places in the world. The giant claws are not for show. They can exert over 700 pounds of force and get their name because they use them to break open coconuts, their favorite dish. Just because they prefer fruits and nuts doesn't mean they aren't a threat to us. They are meat eaters and have been known to go for any humans foolish enough to wander onto their territory. They aren't exceptionally fast, so you don't have to worry about them outrunning you. Just don't let them get a piece of you, or else you're done for. Number 2. A YouTuber named Papa Pepper is about to let his family play in the water when he senses something is wrong. The protective father decides to err on the side of caution and proceeds to check the water hole for any signs of danger.
Just doing a quick look to make sure everything was safe. And up underneath this log, it's cottonmouth. A water moccasin.
Hiding under this log, just barely poking out of the water, is the head of a fiercely territorial snake glaring back at the camera.
And up underneath here, way in the front of that log, if you can make that out. Oh yeah, you can make that out. What is that? Big old water moccasin, guys.
They are highly venomous and will go after people who intrude. They are the only type of water snake that puts up a battle rather than back down, and will send someone to the hospital.
Check it out down there. Let's focus in the center of the screen. Where are you at? Find it. Find it. There you go. There's another one.
Papa Pepper is smart to have checked for them before letting his family swim here, otherwise they could have gotten seriously messed up. I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made it this far, why not like this video and hit subscribe in the next 5 seconds? Because I upload 4 new scary videos every week. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. Number 1. The jdgehlert beach is a 3-mile stretch of sand dotted with upscale hotels and restaurants. The local economy depends on vacationers having a good time, so you can imagine their fear on February 13th, 2020, a day before Valentine's Day, when a truly astounding oceanic oddity washed ashore in Mexico for all to see. The bizarre creature sighting has so many anomalies that I wouldn't know where to even begin, so it would probably be better to point out what I recognize rather than what I don't. Whatever this is has the same rounded head and short snout of a bottlenose dolphin. Bottlenose dolphins are also generally gray in color, much like this. At the same time, it also has an elongated body more closely resembling an eel, and the tail ends in one long fin much like an eel as well. Another indicator of an eel is how the teeth come to large sharp points at the end. Dolphin teeth tend to be more spaced apart and not as long. There also seems to be extra teeth in the circled area. Eels have 2 rows of teeth much like this. Dolphins don't. So whatever this is seems to share characteristics of both species to the point where neither is dominant. Maybe it's even something completely different. There are also some rather scary unknown things about this bizarre creature, like missing eyes. I don't think its eyes were pecked out by other deep sea creatures because I don't see any eye sockets at all. This creature was sadly born blind. This observation makes me wonder if maybe this was a deformed dolphin abandoned by the mother. I know it's sad, but nature can be quite cruel. I was about to leave the unexplained photograph at that, but when I did some more research, I discovered there is an ancient cave hundreds of miles away that is definitely within swimming distance for a giant underwater creature crossing the deep sea. The underwater cave is over 1,000 meters below the surface, so whatever's down there gets no light and has no need for eyes. I think it's possible something scary found its way out from the cave and washed ashore here weeks later. And get this, the underwater cave is called Playa del Amor, aka the Beach of Love. Pretty odd coincidence having a creature from the Beach of Love wash up a day before Valentine's Day, a sign of more scary stuff to come perhaps. These scary videos will creep you out for days, but the people who experience them firsthand will remain scared for a lot longer than that.